All right, welcome, 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 everyone. Grand and glorious day to you today on this amazing day where life is occurring. Yes, it is. I'm your guide for this little series, The Light Weaver, Lisa Chabru, and I'm so happy that you're coming along for this very important series on this energetic life, recognizing that there's more to this experience than just what we see. And that's what my passion is about, is to help you and me and all our fellow travelers remember who they really are, why they're really here, by embarking upon their own personal healing journey using ancient wisdom and applying it to this modern life. And today we're talking about the perception of chaos that we're seeing out there on the earth plane, and how so much of it is manipulated and generated by forces that might not have our best interest at heart. And until we awaken to that realization, remember we call it unconscious incompetence, right? The majority of the planet is unconsciously incompetent. They're below that level of integrity that we're always talking about. On Dr. David Hawkins' scale of consciousness, the level is 200. And if we vibrate below that level of 200, we're really stuck in blame and shame, and we are pliable and manipulatable by forces that are very versed. They are consciously competent in their ability to manipulate mass quantities of people. And on my personal healing journey, one of the greatest realizations that I ever had or was ever taught, of course, was meditation from about 30 years ago. And even before that, prayer. I was taught at a very young age to commune with the unseen realms. And in the Christian world, we call that, prayer, where we're communing with the light of Jesus Christ or whomever it is that ideally is a beneficial frequency of love and expansion, as opposed to a very contracting frequency where so many of us really reside, until we come to that level of consciousness. We're really like face down, and not walking erect with our head held high, asking for divine guidance and wisdom so that we can be a force for good or for God upon the planet, however you language it. I gave up politics decades ago because politics is bullshit. And the politics of religion, the politics of politics, the politics of government, the politics of education have really hijacked us. And it keeps us in this state of unrest and pliability for a much more nefarious intention, which really has been, remember on 12-12-12, when the shift occurred, the grand 26,000 year cycle came to of a new beginning. The Mayan calendar came to a new beginning, right? We're not always talking about endings because it's always a new beginning. The 7,500 year galactic shift or period also came to an end. And it opened us up, moved us towards this age of Aquarius where things are appearing to be speeded up, but also now all knowledge, all wisdom is coming forth. And this information that we are receiving can cause some uprest. And unrest and some uprising. And it's our diligent duty to be present, awake, and aware that we have been duped, that we are deliberately being diseased, distressed, um, dystopic to each other, where we are not even able to tolerate or hear. And I don't like that word, using that word in so much, because it's been hijacked by this less than beneficial force, and it's deliberate, it's calculated, and we are the ones who are enmeshed in it for the pleasure of thems who might not have our best intention at heart. Let's take a breath here. And let's just hold that breath for an instant. And let's just engage that physicality that is our body. And let's just be grateful for this moment in time. And now let's just surrender that breath all the way down past our toes, where we just want to release and let go of the gripping and the griping and the grievances that keep us perpetually trapped, moment after moment, hour after hour, day after day, week after week, year after year, lifetime after lifetime, in this low vibrational experience. Oh my goodness. I've got a kitten and a puppy playing. They're having a good time. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to have a good time. Now, I don't want to get into all the specifics, and at some point I am going to be sharing with you links and information, but we really have to prep ourselves to receive this information, because otherwise it's too devastating. It's just too devastating. And even my own level of awareness, as I'm opening up, to higher realms of understanding regarding the interplay between what is seen and how we consider known here in this lifetime, that the physicality, and that which is unseen, unknown, but is still potent and powerful and comes into us and at us through an energetic process that all either promotes love and light and compassion and empathy for all of our fellow travelers, or it keeps us trapped in this grievance business. Remember, the Course in Miracles says we could either choose a grievance or a miracle about any given moment in time. The importance of delving within our own energetic body and finding the peace that passeth all understanding will help us to navigate this better, better, right? The challenge that I'm stating that we've never had this because at this particular moment in time, moving through all realms of understanding and awareness, it is my understanding, now of course nothing is new under the sun, but these weapons that are being used against us to keep us gripping and clenching, what do we used to call it in the 70s, uptight and on the grip, which cause us to be in only reactionary mode. So we become the hair trigger and we see something, and now we have this amazing ability to spew forth in a negative way, that which offends. Remember, it is the weak mind that is offended. The grand mind sees offendedness as a burr under the saddle. Boy, that burr is fired up. That burr's getting infected. And it's very disturbing to those of us who are peaceful little beings, to those of us who are light weavers, to those of us who are on a pathway to create peace on earth through peace of mind, to be on a pathway that reminds us of our purpose here, to love. To love the self and everybody else as much as we love ourselves. Even that irritating idiot down the road, right? Right? Isn't that how we kind of think about our fellow travelers? We automatically move to this frequency of irritation. Hang on one second. Got a little sneeze coming on. We move to this frequency of irritation that is so disruptive, not just to our physicality, our emotionality, our spirituality, but we're vibrating it so loudly, so powerfully that it's reverberating out there into the collective. And people are eating that up, gobbling that up as if it were, the grandma's chicken noodle soup. I don't know why I said that, but I'm making chicken broth right now. And that's supposed to be healing. Our chicken soup is supposed to be healing. Our bone broth is supposed to be healing. So there's my little chickadee. I've got to put some seeds out this morning for him. Now, all through this existence, and I'm kind of expanded here. So all through this existence, let's get good and ground. Let's get in our body. Let's just be in our body here. Keeping that powerful pelvic point engaged. The Mula Bandhas, Dr. Sue Morter reminds us, always keep that engaged so that our energy is not just spewing upon the earth in that way. But all through this time and space, this perception of time and space, there's been the grand battle. They talk about it in the Bible. The fight for good and evil, over good and evil, light versus dark, wisdom versus ignorance. That dual experience that we are blessed to be having in this lifetime. And one of the greatest gifts Source ever gave us, or God ever gave us, is our choice for free will. Now, the problem with free will is that we want to make sure that we are of sound body and mind. Remember when we talked about in simplicity of spirituality, if we're on a healing pathway, if we're pursuing our own happiness, which is one of the greatest gifts we are given, is just the gift of pursuit, right? We are always healthier and happier to the degree that we are on track, on a pathway, pursuing something of importance to us, ideally creating something that is beautiful and beneficial for the benefit of all mankind, not just for us, but when we do these things, and in my mind's eye, I see us as wanting to bring about the grand shift, the grander experience. We want to live on Grand Avenue, don't we? It's funny. Hun and I were on a little road trip last week, and I had just recorded that teaching last week on the grand experience. We saw a house for sale, and it was on Grand Avenue, and we were kind of chuckling about that. But I digress, as usual. This grander experience can only only be accessed if we're sound body and mind, and if we are not being politically motivated, or manipulated by those who are motivated by darker forces or motivated for, what was that? Appetite for destruction? Was that AC/DC? Thanks, AC/DC, for that. Oh no, I think maybe that was the other one. That other. Anyhow. So through our prayer and meditation practice, we rise up that scale of consciousness and come to awareness, and we look around and we say, aha, eureka! I am here. I am aware. I am awake. And I want to scale upward, because as I scale upward, I am not just taking responsibility for my own healing journey, but I'm setting an example for others in this manner. And I'm contributing to the collective, as opposed to staying face down in the muck and the mishigash with the masses who don't have that ability at this moment in time, because they are manipulated, and there are many more manipulators upon this earth, and we're going deeper into that in the Home and Hearth series, because the first cheek, the first little cut that came along was this devastation. We kicked mamas out of the house, didn't we? First we kicked daddies out of the house. We made them go to the mines and work or whatever. And God bless men for the work that they do. Thank you, potent, powerful, real men. But as women, as we took charge here, right, and we burned our bras, and I'm not saying that a correction did not have to occur, because I do believe that it did, but not at the sake of our babies, not at the sake of the home, the heart of this very lifetime. We all need a place, be it ever so humble, that gives us the shelter and the ability to from the world's crisis and drama. We need that deep relaxation. And we forgot how to nourish ourselves. And remember, in Food Frequency for Life, we talk about breathing. Breath is the first nourishment, and this conscious breath is that spark of the God force within us, the Christ consciousness within us, the enlightenment within us that already exists. As soon as we came across into this earth time and we took that first breath, that was the spark of the divine, right? And that the second frequency, the nourishment, the nutrient that we needed, well, it's 9 o'clock somewhere. And this awake awareness is this, I am here. Remember, who was it? The Horton Hears a Who. We are here, we are here. I am here, I am here. I am here now. And when we are here now, we are in that very powerful moment of creation moving forward. Thinking yesterday in a mini meditative practice, K-A-T, cat with a K, easy cat. We are in this moment of potency and power by being awake and aware here and now, and a 360-degree looking, seeing, recognizing all directions above and below and within us, that this is so amazing. We are so grateful and blessed to be here now. And by being here now means that I am able to pursue something that is ideally beneficial for all, Now, of course, those things that we pursue, I pursued the bars forever, right? Woohoo! I always likened it, I could always find the party anywhere I needed. Anywhere I was in the world, I found the party. And boy, what weren't the 80s and early 90s so much fun because of that? Yeah. But that is that, um, you get what you think about most of the time. I was so brain damaged in my youth by vaccinations or whatever it was, that I was so sensitive at such a young age that I used drugs and alcohol to cope, and it's a very typical experience for those of us who are very intuitive and empathic, and we always talk about that. But my thinking yesterday was, here we are at this moment in time, and if we are to soar, it made me think of Bernoulli's Law. Bernoulli's Law. What's Bernoulli's Law? It's the Saved by the Bell. Bernoulli's Law when we get back. And so, we're always talking about our interplay in the universal laws, but Bernoulli's Law, as I understand it, is this, it's the experience of lift and propulsion. And it states, and don't come after me for this, look it up yourself if you need like the most analytical, technical aspect of it. But my understanding is that when a plane is in flight, there is this space between the actual plane and this frequency that is really, not only is a plane being pulsed forward, but it's being pulled forward because of this universal law. But there is this tiny little space or gap in which I like to call that like that whisper of potential. And so if we are here now, awake and aware, we're in this, we're minding the gap. If you've ever been to London, they'll say mind the gap, which means be careful of the curb, don't fall over. But in spirituality, the gap is this itty bitty infinite hesitation between thought, being, and potential, and then realization of what we have been in creation or pursuing. Our very wise ancestors who created this living document called the Constitution here in the United States. It's a living document, and one of the things that they guaranteed us by being born here in this amazing place at this amazing time was our guarantee to pursue our happiness, without being impeded or tread upon by, we'll just call the government, nefarious forces. And as we stated before, we are healthy and happy to the degree that we are in pursuit of something. Now, I'm not a hunter, but my husband is. And I liken this to like maybe as a man, men are hunters, women are gatherers on a universal grander scale when we look at these. And, a hunter in pursuit, his senses are heightened. His awareness is heightened. And every sound, every scent, every fiber of his being is in pursuit. And as I always said, I always pursued the party. I was a party girl. And, that pursuit, whatever I was chasing, that I used drugs and alcohol to mask or dull, continues to be the potential of where I am exactly at this moment in time today. So we look at all of our windy, twisty, turny roads up to this moment in time, and the pursuit continues, doesn't it? The pursuit continues. So when we are awake and aware and in our meditative state, we say, What else is possible for me now? Guide me, guard me, give me wisdom. Allow me to be a healing balm upon the planet. Help me to step away from this negative, although I don't understand, but oftentimes when I'm speaking in this manner, people perceive this as, you're negative Nancy, because I would say, people would say, I got my flu shot today. And I would, of course, say something like, what are you, crazy? No, I wouldn't say that, but I would say, uh, didn't you know that in 1953 they came out and said that these shots are more damaging than good? Well, I was eating my bowl of super sugar bombs. Didn't you know that sugar is the cause of all degenerative diseases? It's not good fats. Did you know that our food is poison? And people perceive that as negative. Can you imagine? I perceive it as an awakening. That's interesting. How can I investigate further? That's kind of how we want to go through this lifetime. Isn't isn't that interesting? And to test for ourselves through our prayer and meditative practice so that we make better choices, set a better example, restructure our homes so that our children are being raised by mama and daddy, or ideally mama and daddy who love them and are setting a great example of what a good, healthy relationship is. All right, I'm kind of off track today. I'm going to pop this out. We're going to go deeper. My battery's getting low here. I want to thank you for your time here. And we're moving on. In the next episode, we're going to be going more deeply into the importance of our healing the heart of the home first.